Okay, so tonight's homework is on word choice and word meaning. We're going to be thinking about the author's word choice and how it helps you identify theme in your story. Let's get started. Why is a word choice important? Well, academic word choice is important because in a testing session and literature analysis or specific core classes, it's important to be able to use this to elevate your writing. It also adds to your vocabulary when you start noticing word choice. The more you read and expose yourself to higher vocabulary, the more you retain it and will use it in the future, both in your own verbal vocabulary when you're talking to someone, as well as in your writing. It also can help make a story more descriptive. Authors use word choice to help description and interest in their story. And as you write, think about how to show, not tell, and how to paint a picture for your reader. Using vivid description and really thinking about word choice is always helpful. So let's start talking about different types of word choice. Let's talk about connotation and denotation. These are big words, but basically connotation is the emotional feeling or idea that's associated with a word, and the denotation is the direct dictionary definition. Sometimes English is hard because it depends on how you use a word to how it actually is perceived, or you can understand the meaning of the word based on how the word is used. So for example, when you call someone a chicken, what's the connotation that's attached to that word? It's not a very good one, right? Because you're using that word to describe that someone is afraid to do something. But the actual denotation of that word is a domestic animal, a domestic fowl that has eggs, and you can eat their eggs or eat their meat, especially a young one, not a super old, an old chicken. So the direct dictionary definition is the denotation. But the connotation changes the word meaning. It changes the fact that depending on how you're using that word is how we now perceive or understand the word. So if you're using the word chicken to describe someone, now the connotation attached to it means to be a coward or to mean to be afraid of something. It changes the definition of the word. So there is a definition. Connotation is the feeling. Denotation is the direct dictionary definition. So let's take a look at the following groups of words and rank them or list them in order of positive connotation to negative connotation. If you don't know what some of these words, it might be helpful to look up some of them. So group 1, thin, slim, lanky, skinny, gaunt, slender. How would you rank those? How would you list those from positive to negative feeling? I would think if you called someone thin or slender, it has a more positive connotation than skinny or gaunt or lanky. Sometimes those words are used to be hurtful. So think about them and reorder them in your notes in a positive to negative connotation. How do you see those words? How about group 2? Aggressive, assertive, domineering, dynamic, pushy, forceful. Range those words from positive to negative. And if you don't know some of these words, it's a great way to add to your word choice or word vocabulary by looking them up and understanding what they mean. How about group 3? Shrewd, egghead, bright, clever, brilliant, cunning, smart, intelligent, brainy. Now, most of those words you should know, hopefully. And I would say, when we're looking from positive to negative connotation, calling someone smart or intelligent has a positive feeling attached to it. But calling them an egghead maybe doesn't have a positive. In fact, it's more of a negative connotation. So order those from positive to negative and see if you really have a good idea of how to go. And we're going to check this in class tomorrow. So write each group down from positive to negative on how you personally feel those words have a connotation attached to them. So how do you identify connotation? So like I was saying, there's negative connotation. This is where negative feelings are attached to the word, where you would maybe say this is a bad word or it gives me a bad feeling. Neutral is where there's not really any negative or positive feelings attached to it. There really is no good or bad feelings attached to the word. It's just kind of in the middle. A positive connotation is where positive feelings are attached to the word, or you feel like it's a good word, or you have a good feeling attached to that word. So here's another example. Negative. There are over 2,000 vagrants in the city. So vagrants might have a more negative feeling attached to that word. Neutral. There are over 2,000 people with no fixed address in the city. And then finally, more of a positive one, there are over 2,000 homeless in the city. I actually would say that I would maybe even switch the neutral and positive here, because people with no fixed address doesn't sound bad, but I guess it doesn't really sound positive either. I don't know. I think depending on your own interpretation, positive and neutral, those could be kind of interchangeable, but I think sometimes you have a very positive, happy feeling over something and then a negative feeling over something else. So just be thinking negative, neutral, positive, and connotation is that feeling attached to a word. All right, another thing to be looking for when we're looking at word meaning: explicit and implicit. Explicit is when something is stated in the text and you can literally put your finger on it. The definition is the same as what the word is meaning, and it's an explicit statement. Implicit is something that you have to figure out from clues. You have to kind of read between the lines and figure out what the author is telling you without really telling you. Theme is often implicit, or most always implicit. You have to figure out how you interpret and read between the lines and think about what the author wants you to get from the story. So explicit versus implicit. How does word meaning and word choice help you? Well, there's many things to pay attention to when you look at words the author has chosen to use in their writing, especially when you're trying to figure out theme. Pay close attention to the author's word choice as you read, and it will help you identify theme and help support your idea of theme. Okay, you're finished. Don't forget summary and hot question. I've gone over a lot of really big ideas: implicit, explicit, connotation, denotation, all centered around word choice. And I think there's a lot of information in here. So really be conscientious about your notes and think about your summary and ask a really good hot question if I've totally confused you with tonight's video. Thanks, guys.